everybody. Welcome back to Catalea Counseling. Today we're going to speak to Noor Jahan Arense, and she will be sharing her journey with polycystic ovary syndrome with us. Welcome, Noor Jahan.
Thank you, Joel, for having me, and hello, everybody.
So I'm gonna let you go and tell us about your journey. We are all very excited to hear.
Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity. The reason that I actually wanted to do this or to speak to you about this is because it's a very hidden subject. So, this is only my journey, and obviously, every woman is different and they go through PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, differently. We share a lot of the same feelings, though, because I belong to like a group that also are women that are suffering from the same condition. And we seem to go through a lot of the same emotions. So, I'm going to just share my story with you guys in the hope that somebody can not only relate but that they all know that there is hope out there as well. So I've suffered from polycystic ovarian syndrome for most of my life. I just didn't realize it until I was actually married and we were trying to conceive. So polycystic, oh, I'm gonna say PCOS is just easier. PCOS is about much more than just conception and not being able to fall pregnant or struggling to fall pregnant because it affects a lot of your self-esteem as well. And the reason for that is that you not only do you experience irregular periods or severe periods, or it also affects your ability to conceive, and that also can affect your relationships. It affects your weight. It's part of what is part of PCOS is insulin resistance. So it means that you struggle to lose weight. So when you put on weight, you also can't get rid of the weight. So it, for me, it involves so many things, and it's such a complex thing that it's not just simple to talk about. So I've met quite a few women throughout like my lifetime now who have suffered from this, and you don't even realize it. I mean, you're walking around there and you're going to salons and you're trimming your mustache and you're doing all these crazy things, which is due to hormonal imbalance in your body, and it affects your self-esteem at the end of the day. It can affect your whole life. You can be in a relationship and it can ruin that entire relationship because of this one thing that's going on in your life. And I was experiencing irregular periods and struggling to lose weight. So I decided to see a gynae who actually told me that I had cysts on my ovaries. And she actually told me that I'd never have kids on my own. And I just felt like my whole world came crashing down because I was always somebody that loved children and I wanted to have my own children. And this was like a big wall that I just felt I was not going to ever get over. And then after I saw the gynae, I felt completely defeated and broken. And that was about in November of 2011. I then decided that I was going to change my whole way of living, that I was going to start eating healthier. I was going to do the painting, exercising, join the boot camp, did all of that. And I started taking antiголin at the time to help manage my polycystic ovarian syndrome symptoms. And it was a big help. I saw a change. And in January of the following year, I actually found that I was pregnant. So we were quite excited because it was, something we'd never experienced, our first pregnancy, all of that. And then 3 months later, I had a miscarriage and it hit me like a ton of bricks. It felt even worse than the doctor telling me I'd never have children because I thought, I won the battle. I didn't realize that this is a war I was fighting. So I miscarried and it was extremely tough. Um, I actually didn't think that my marriage would survive it because that was the first and only time I ever saw my husband cry. So emotionally, it can take its toll on a marriage even. It took another 2 years for me to have my son. And even though I was able to carry him, I only carried him until about 36 weeks. I had a very difficult pregnancy. Even my second born, he was also, I had a very tough time. So PCOS still today, it still affects me. and it still affects my life. I still struggle to lose weight. I still have these challenges of mood changes and all these things because of a hormonal imbalance in my body. And I think it is something I will never ever be rid of. And actually, now, not even a month ago, say 2 months ago, I had another miscarriage. So it's something that is always going to be in my life. And I think it is important as women that we talk about it and that so that we can make others aware that they are not alone, because there are some women that are really suffering with PCOS. And it is such a difficult thing when you feel so alone and you're going through this alone. And as much as your husband tries to understand, he can never fully understand because he doesn't understand the hormonal changes you go through and the difficulties you have in, I mean, you do the same diet as woman A and you cannot lose that 10 kilos that she lost because your body's completely different. So that's why I feel it's important for us to share our journeys. And some are still in that struggle where they feel that defeat, and that is okay. You need to be able to also allow yourself to grieve and to go through the process of not being okay. There was a long time that I wasn't okay, where every little comment about my weight would set me off, where every little comment about having a baby and, oh, you're not pregnant yet, would set me off. But now it's different. Now I have acceptance of my condition. And yes, I have been blessed with two beautiful boys, but it wasn't easy. My pregnancies weren't easy. After effects of the pregnancy wasn't easy. And it's all because of the PCOS and what's going on in my body. So I must say I have a bigger acceptance of myself now and I can openly chat about it, whereas I couldn't before. So from me, I just want anyone who's listening and maybe going through the same things to reach out to that person that you know is also suffering and just try and be that helping hand. You can't really do anything to change the situation, but you can be there for them to vent to. So that's a bit about my journey and what I've gone through. Like I said, I don't have one of the most hectic situations where, I mean, I haven't had to use any other medication besides the antiголin because it helped me. I know lots of women I see on the PCOS group that is having to go through meds after meds every month. I know a few people that's also on meds and actively trying to fall pregnant. It is a tough battle, but there are many women that can be there for you. And yeah, that's about it from my side.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing your journey, Robin. Some of our viewers sent in questions, and one of the questions was why the stigma surrounding PCOS?
I think the reason there is such a big stigma around it is because people don't take the time to understand it. I was even sitting today and thinking that, like, even the medical aids, if you have PCOS and you go for treatment, that needs to come out of your pocket or it needs to come out of your savings because they don't even recognize it as a condition. It's like I don't understand it because I think that it is a valid condition that should be recognized as a prescribed minimum benefit.
Yes.
Uh, because it's a challenge, and I mean the treatments are not cheap. They are extremely expensive, and not every woman, but most women want to become mothers, and it shouldn't be unattainable just because of a hormonal imbalance, because this is not something that you asked for. But I
Yes.
think the big stigma that comes with it is because people don't understand it and they don't take the time to educate themselves on it.
Yes. So the other question regarding PCOS is that magic 10 kgs that you're supposed to lose. We received a lot of questions regarding the magic 10 kgs because loads of women go to the gynae and the gynae says, oh, if you have PCOS, first point of treatment, lose the 10 kgs. Now that sounds simple, but for someone with PCOS, it's not simple.
Possible.
So,
It's not
so
simple.
lots of the ladies were saying, I'm failing at this. I can't lose the 10 kgs. Even losing 2 or 3 kgs seems impossible for me, you know? And what would you say to these ladies? Because I sense a type of the feeling defeated, and I like what you said, because it's not one battle. It is literally a war that's made up out
Yeah,
of small
small
battles,
bit.
daily battles. So one day you find, the next day you look at yourself in the mirror and you just burst out crying because you saw you got an extra hair somewhere where there's not supposed to be no hair, you know?
Mm. What I would say is find you a different gynae.
Mm.
The reason I say that is because the gynae that I went to in November that told me, I'd never have kids of my own. Then I changed and I went to my gynae that I've had now for both my kids.
Yes.
I have always been overweight. And to the extent that with my first pregnancy, I picked up 20 kilos, and my second, I picked up 20 kilos. I've always been overweight. There's never been a time I've been even within a normal range.
Mm.
And not once did it tell me I need to lose weight.
Wow.
She would tell me that, yes, I need to eat better because of so and so, because I had a gestational diabetes scare with my first one, and I always had high blood pressure. Whenever I'm pregnant, we don't know why, but that just always happens. So
Yes.
she would just obviously put me with a dietitian to just manage those things. But not once did she tell me that I need to lose 10 kgs in order to have my second, or so I would say you need to find you a provider that's going to work with you and not just put you, because what some doctors tend to do is they tend to bundle all women up. Like, how can you tell 15 women that have PCOS that they each need to lose 10 kgs? Our bodies are not the same.
Yes.
Maybe I only need to lose 5 in order for my cycle to be regular again. Maybe
Yes.
you only need to lose 2. Do you know what I mean? So you can't,
Yeah.
it's not one shoe fits all. So
Yes.
my answer to that would be to find you a provider that is going to walk the journey with you.
Yes. One of the other viewers asked, am I the only one who has random emotional breakdowns about this?
No, in the early days, I was also like that because I felt that, well, like my feelings were like, why is life so unfair? And it was like all these women around me are having children. They didn't even want the children. I want a child and I can't have a child. Like, then I just cry for no reason. So it is perfectly normal. You must remember your hormones are always on, like, even sometimes I'll know, like, look at myself and I'm like, yo, I'm a bitch crazy, hey? Like, what I just did there, I'm a bitch crazy. And it's normal.
Yes.
It's all part of who
Yes.
we are. With PCOS, those mood changes. One minute I'll be so happy, and the next minute I'll be blowing my top because it's the hormones in your body. It's what it does. Like, even after I had my 2 kids and my periods have been pretty regular, I've had no irregular periods after them. But
Mm.
I know that my PCOS is still there because I feel it when I get my period, how extremely painful it is,
Mm.
and how like my mood change and the random hairs and all of those funny things. So it never really goes away. Even
Yeah.
after, if you are blessed to have a child, your PCOS is still there. It's actually something that is passed on to you.
Yeah.
So it comes from your mother or your grandmother or wherever.
And that is one of the myths regarding PCOS, because so many people believe that once you have a child, you won't have PCOS anymore. But PCOS is in your endocrine system, so it affects your heart, it affects your pancreas, your that's why your sugar levels are affected. It affects so many different parts of your body besides your reproductive system. I think why the focus is on the reproductive system is because that is where it's where you can see it. But some people might not
Yeah.
even have a cyst, and they'll still have PCOS, right?
Yes, the
So
thing is, it affects your entire body. It's not just something, that's why I said it's about more than just fertility issues and
exactly.
infertility. It really, it can, yes, at the end of the day, most of the time we only raise it because we want to have kids.
Yes.
But it's about more than that. It's about the weight struggle. It's about all of those things.
Yes, and like you said, Some people will have painful periods where other people will have absolutely no pain. Some people will have a regular cycle. Some people won't have a cycle for months on end. So it's such a lucky packet syndrome. It's like, what am I getting this month?
It is. You don't even know what's going to happen. You feel like you're just putting your hand in the bag and pulling out and saying, hey, maybe I'm lucky, maybe I'm not. Eh?
Yes.
So it's a really tough thing, and women need to be a bit like they need to be able to be comfortable to speak about these things.
Yes. And I spoke to someone earlier regarding, and she's also on the channel regarding surviving stillbirth. And she said something really vital. When I asked her, what would you say to people out there? She said, be kind to yourself. And I thought that is really significant. Because when you're going through all these things, you are so hard on yourself. You blame yourself for every little thing. So being kind to yourself is the last thing on your mind.
And it's also because of certain things in society, man. Like we are raised to believe that in order to be successful as a woman, you need to get married, you need to have children, you need to have a career, you need to be a mother, you need to do all of these things. But at the end of the day, that might not be what everyone wants.
Yes.
So they are different. You need to also understand, like maybe this is not in your path right now. Maybe there are certain things you need to change in your life to get to where you need to be, and then things will start changing. But it's difficult because we tend to define ourselves on our worth by being like through being a mother. Like it's really tough because I was at that point also where I wanted it so badly that I couldn't even see straight. And I decided to stop myself because I realized this was not healthy for my mental health. Wasn't even about my physical anymore. I became so obsessed with it. I was tracking my ovulation. I was checking my cervical mucus like a crazy person. I was like, I am crazy. I'm crazy. That's what's happening here. And that was not okay because I didn't even care what I was like emotionally. That was not a person that could be a mother.
Yes.
In my opinion, the person I was at that point, she was not fit to be a mother because I was so consumed with wanting to have a baby that I forgot to take care of myself.
And that person maybe needed to be kind to herself, like this lady was saying. And when you were kind to yourself, you were fine. And I done, as part of my thesis a few years ago, I done a study on women who suffered from preeclampsia and HELLP syndrome. And one of the things that came out of that study, or actually out of a book I read, I think the lady's name is Northrup. She said we need to let go of the idea that motherhood equates womanhood. That you can't be a real woman if you're not a mother.
If you
And I think that's significant.
It is very significant. It's also tough though because most women want to be mothers.
Yes. But
And
also to find
it
the
affects
value.
your relationships.
Yes.
And all of those things.
Yeah, to find the value in the individual so that when the person becomes a mother, that is part of their identity. But and I think for women to mentally just be able to get through this is to know that I'm a whole person, even if I'm not a mother. I'm still a whole person. And there's nothing lacking of me, and I'm not a mistake, or I'm not to blame for this.
It's a journey we all go through, I think, and each one is at a different phase. But to those women that are struggling with it, self-acceptance is very vital because this can mess with your mental health like it's nothing. Like for real, like I told you, I thought I was crazy, and everyone feels like that. It's normal. It's just you have to step back and look at yourself, but look at it from another perspective.
Yes.
Because people think like automatically you think when you can't have children, like my husband, what's gonna happen now? Is he gonna leave me? Is he going to go and look for a woman that can give him children? These are all things that go through your mind.
Yes.
And you need to sit down with your partner and you need to sort of accept that with your PCOS, it might be your reality that you could never become a mother. Because my husband and I, we had to sit down and have that conversation. And it wasn't easy because
Yeah.
I had to obviously take into consideration that he might want children of his own. And if that was the case, what does that mean for our marriage? So it's a millionfold for me, this issue. And I really think that we need to speak and create more awareness about it. The same way with endometriosis, they've created such awareness about it now. And people are more willing to speak about it. We need to
Yeah.
do the same with PCOS and make it okay for people to feel what they feel.
Yeah. So, in closing, I would like to ask you, what would your message be for those listening to you and those who also want to get to a point where they are thriving despite PCOS?
My message would be a message of hope. And it may not be hope in the sense of becoming a mother, but it will be hope in the sense of you need to create this bubble around yourself where you accept yourself for who you are. And and you need to also realize that with that self-acceptance comes self-love, and that you need to love yourself first and take care of yourself in every way, whether it's mental, physical, and through that, you might reach your goal of becoming a mother. And it might not be through pregnancy, but you might find that self love that you need to maybe mother another, which is a child that's already in this world through adoption.
Yes.
But it starts with you. That would be my message. You need to find that acceptance within yourself. It is a difficult journey to be on. And it's just, I want them to have hope. I want them to keep faith and trust in themselves at the end of the day.
Thank you very, very much. You have been extremely inspiring, and I'm sure so many women are going to be inspired by your journey.
Thank you for having me, Joel. And I really wish the listeners and the guys that asked the questions all the best. And just try and also connect with somebody who has PCOS that can just be your vent buddy also.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Nurjan.
Thank you for having me, Joel.